Well, the fellas, they've dropped 20 games at the house, and unfortunately, the first game post-All-Star break, it was one of them. The fellas, they tried as they may. However, it was the Minnesota Twins. We told you on Cubs Live, they were bringing the smoke from the land of 10,000 lakes, and the fellas, they were not up to the task. A 3-run defeat courtesy of those Minnesota Twins. They've now won 11 of their last 16 games, and the fellas, well, they have some work to do tomorrow because it's going to be a special day, and this is a special show. You just checked in with us right here on Cubs Postgame Live, presented by Yuengling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Cole Wright, the 17-year big leaguer Cliff Floyd, and Cliff, the fellas, they jumped on the board first, but it was multiple mistakes that really held them down tonight.
Well, the first, mistake was when you look at Michael Busch on the base paths, right, getting tagged out before Say was able to score a run, and then it kind of snowballed, right? They left 5 guys on third base. They were 1 for 9 runs in scoring position. Things I talked about in the pregame. When you have missed opportunities, I don't care who it is, you're playing a better Minnesota Twins team than we expected. We talked about not having one of their best players, and Byron Buxton not playing. And when you allow them to kind of hang around, and then Colin Rea, we know what Colin Rea is going to do. He's going to give you a solid outing. He's going to give us some runs. But when you look at it overall, to me, it just was missed opportunities from an offensive standpoint.
Absolutely. Colin Rea, we talk about him all the time. He's an innings eater. That's what he does. He goes out there and tackles his assignment with professionalism. And that gets us to our professional grade plays presented by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana GMC dealers. Colin Rea, 6 innings of work, 91 pitches, 59 strikes, 3 earned runs, Cliff, but the 6 punch-outs and just the 1 home run allowed. Anytime your starting pitcher goes out there and gives you 6 frames of work and just scatter 3 earned runs, that means that you're in a prime position to go out there and win a ball game. The fellas, they just couldn't strike today.
Well, you should have been, right? I mean, Colin Rea, right, he had the 1 inning, right? 4 runs were scored. He gave up the 3-run home, as you mentioned. But it was one of those things. He only walked 1 guy. Soft contact. In that inning where they scored some runs, and then of course the 3-run homer. But when you think about Colin Rea, he kept the ball down, he kept you in the ball game, and he gave you, what I thought was going to be a solid outing as he's done the previous 3 or 4 outings. So
would you say?
If you break him down, it's pretty much what we just talked about, right? You see the nice change up. I mean, he made some pitches when he had to with 2 strikes. The all-speed stuff. I felt like the all-speed stuff was on point, right? Okay. Everything out the hand, looked like he had confidence. He spotted his fastball when he needed to. So he made some pitches. Yes, he's going to get into trouble. We've seen Colin Rea get into a little trouble at times, but he's able to always get out of it. Here's just a tough play, but it's a double play, right? Before we get to what happened with Dansby at second, but these are all things. Here goes the 3rd inning, right? That's soft contact, some bad luck. That's just a little infield knock. You're thinking nothing to that. Here goes the play right here. Tough one. Michael Busch throws, to me, a great throw. I felt like the base runner kind of went out of his lane to make that slide.
Yeah, absolutely.
It hits the hand and then smokes Dansby in the mouth. He stayed in the game. Tough dude he is. And then the base line. We talked about these guys in the pregame, Cole. They're hitting 286 runs in scoring position. He's leading the pack, hitting 388. That number just went up. And then a little hanger, to Jeffers as a 3-run homer. So all these things, when you look at with Colin Rea, he made 1 mistake to me the whole night, and there it is in the 3rd inning for the 3-run homer. I just thought, the offense was not there enough for him to kind of go out there and battle for a dub tonight.
Yeah, 32-11 when they score 3 or fewer runs, and when Colin Rea or whoever it may be gets that starting nod and you put up an outing like that, you have to be able to run through the tape, especially against a team like the Minnesota Twins when you're here in front of all these fans at Wrigley Field, because this is a special place, and the next 2 versus Minnesota, hopefully some very special outcomes. 5-2, the Twins, they come out on top of the Cubs in game 1 of a 3-game set.